I'm Elwood, and you are watching the Political Vigil. Rising up, the truth, rising out of the ashes, phoenix-like, in the burnt, tawdry system. We're going to make Gotham great again on this show because we're not letting certain stories go, like Epstein. So the DOJ, the Department of Justice, just released a new report. So you remember Acosta, Trump's Secretary of Labor? He was in charge of the sweetheart deal. So when Epstein got arrested in 2007 in West Palm Beach, Florida, and the trial went on for a while, he gave Epstein this sweetheart deal. Literally, it could have gotten a life sentence, but instead he got 13 months in a work release program where literally he could leave jail every day. And he would. And there's records of him going back to his island. He was raping and trafficking girls while in incarceration in Florida. A sweetheart deal. And the DOJ, that he used poor judgment. Look at that. Oh, really? Poor judgment? Poor judgment. Oh, okay. You let probably one of the worst, if not the worst, at least that we know about, pedophile sex traffickers. You could have arrested him back in 2009. And how many hundreds, if not thousands of victims could have been prevented from this? That's poor judgment. So anybody that got raped or trafficked after 2009, sorry, it was just poor judgment. Acosta just had poor judgment. Poor judgment. So this is the whole thing. And this is Trump's Department of Justice, by the way. So this whole bullshit that look, the Clintons are guilty. Bill Clinton was on his plane 26 times. Hillary was on twice. The Clintons were at his compound in New Mexico numerous times. That's enough evidence to know, right? That's enough for me. But when the people are like, well, Trump's a hero, he's an outsider. Trump's an outsider from the ruling class, the deep state, in the sense that he won't do as much war as they want. He doesn't mind if there's war as long as he profits, or he doesn't care. But this notion that Trump he's going to round up the Epstein people. No. Acosta, he appointed Acosta, knowing Acosta did this, gave Epstein a sweetheart deal. William Barr is Trump's appointment, who won't prosecute and has done very little. Ghislaine Maxwell's behind bars, I guess, but nobody else has been brought. No, Les Wexner hasn't been arrested, who should be. Maria Farmer, an Epstein victim, said Les Wexner was head of the North American snake for child trafficking. Prince Andrew, how come he's not in cuffs? So this notion, Trump is part of the evil of all of this. The Clintons are evil, Trump's evil. So I just don't want to hear that. And when we get this DOJ report, poor judgment, is almost as much of a nothing as the Acosta sentencing from 2009. Thursday's report is the result of an internal investigation by the Justice Department's Office of Professional Responsibility. So, wow, maybe Acosta is going to get called into HR. Oh, he's going to get a talking to. This is why this is so offensive to me. What Epstein has proven to all of us, anybody even with just a cursory knowledge of this, let alone someone like myself or Whitney Webb, who we've had on the show numerous times, Sean Atwood, who's doing great work. I don't know Sean. I'd like to get him on this show and talk more about it. He's done deep dives. We have a global pedophile sex trafficking ring run by billionaire elites. The world is run by billionaires, and many of them are raping and selling children around the planet. And we're going to go to the Office of Professional Responsibility. Oh boy. Ooh. Hey, Acosta, you wore a golf shirt into the office. It wasn't casual Friday. That's a mark against you. Office of Professional Responsibility. Why did you let this monster off? Former Labor Secretary Alex Acosta exhibited poor judgment in his handling of the generous deal for Epstein in 2007, but did not commit professional misconduct. What do we know from the Epstein case? The most powerful people in the world are in his black book. The most powerful people in the world have been on his plane, which was nicknamed the Lolita Express, meaning he would rape girls on it. We know Alan Dershowitz is tied into this, Prince Andrew. God only knows what's on Hunter Biden's laptop. I mean, and Trump, absolutely Trump. This is more of how the billionaire sex trafficking ruling class keeps covering this up, right? Maria Farmer talked about this with Whitney Webb. All of these things like, did Epstein kill himself? Did he not kill himself in prison? Even that debate is part of the distraction. If we're talking about, did he kill himself? Is he still alive? We're not talking about the most powerful people in the world that were doing this. Epstein was middle management. Les Wexner, the creator of Victoria's Secret, has this compound in Ohio that Maria Farmer was at. There was employees she said were trafficked. I mean, Whitney Webb has done all this deep dive on it. The involvement of the Clintons, the involvement in the intelligence community. We know this. So every time this is just more like the billionaire pedophile sex trafficking ruling class going, they always want to make it seem like, they always try to frame it like it's an isolated event. Few bad apples, right? Like the Catholic Church. Oh, it's not systemic within the church. The Vatican's not allowing pedophile priests. No, it's a couple of bad apples. We got them. Just like with the police department. Few bad apples. There's not systemic racism in the police department. Few bad apples. Really? Why are there like white nationalists high up in the police department? Why are they protecting the Proud Boys at Black Lives Matter riots? You see what I'm saying? Why is there a 99% acquittal rate with cops that kill people? A few bad apples? It's a few bad apples. We got Epstein. He's dead. It's over. Case closed. Jerry Sandusky. Boy, we didn't know how that happened. No, we know this. We know this. It's when I show you the ties, right? So I've talked about this before. Maria Farmer said she came out in the late 90s, right? That she was trafficked and raped and trafficked by Les Wexner, creator of Victoria's Secret. Victoria's Secret is clearly, hey, I used to love Victoria's. Great panties, sexy. Any girlfriend of mine ever had them? I was like, yeah, I'm all for it. But then you find out that they were using that to recruit young girls. And that's one of their tactics is they go to girls, 14, 15-year-old girls. Now, oh, you want to be a big famous model? They'd get trafficked. Awful. Awful. No one's talked about Les Wexner. No one talks about Les Wexner in any of these stories. He's barely mentioned. There'll be some long list of notable names and he'll be somewhere in there. That's by design. He's a very powerful billionaire. And Victoria's Secret buys a lot of ad time on these big networks. So he'll pull that $10 million ad buy if you keep digging down that hole, right? See how that works? But what Maria Farmer said, she goes, she was treated worse by the FBI, like almost as bad by the FBI as she was by Les Wexner and Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. She knew Ghislaine Maxwell was a monster, right? The head of the FBI, who was appointed by Bill Clinton, was last name of Free. He became a judge, Freeh. Penn State University did an independent investigation after the Sandusky. Came out that he was raping boys. He'd been Judge Free did this report. In that report is some pretty damning information that Joe Paterno and some key administrators knew that Sandusky was doing this. There's all these emails showing that they knew about Sandusky and were hiding it. They never mentioned once we're worried about the kids. They just said, oh, what about the program? This will hurt the football program. We'll lose money if this comes out. That's all they cared about for 13 years. Again. But that report never went past Sandusky. They always try to seal it off. Because as child crimes investigator Eric Oldenburg, who was on this show a little over a year ago, said, when the Sandusky thing first, Eric and I were our friends. We're still friends. We were friends in college. That's how we met. And when the Sandusky thing first happened in 2011, he said, oh, Sandusky was probably getting kids for an alumni because he was a child crimes investigator. So he goes, Graham, he goes, pedophiles are all walks of life and ethnicities and socioeconomic backgrounds. He goes, but the wealthy ones have these big networks. He goes, that's the first thing that came out of his mouth. Sandusky was probably getting kids for alumni. So I started to connect those dots. So they hired Free to make this Free report to just say, Joe Paterno knew about it. Paterno had already died at that point. Can't prosecute him. Sandusky goes to jail. Case closed. We're not talking about the powerful alumni. We're not talking about maybe this, I'm just asking this question, maybe the judges. Sandusky got arrested in 1998 for sex with a minor and molestation, other shit like this. Got a sweetheart deal. Sound familiar? Acosta gave Epstein a sweetheart deal in 2007, 8, 9, right? But he's a pedophile, can't control himself. Sandusky got a slap on the wrist in 1998. The reason he got a slap on the wrist is because he was probably getting kids for powerful people within Pennsylvania. Powerful alumni, judges, cops, whatever. Victoria Roberts, an Epstein victim, said, you can't do this. All these people were in on it, she said. All these people, pilots, cops, everybody, doctors, they were all in on it. They were all in on it. Why am I bringing up all this? It sounds like I'm going off on crazy tangents. No, I'm establishing a pattern of how they do this. Sandusky gets busted the first time in 1998, slap on the wrist, nothing happens. He gets busted the big time, and this time they can't cover this up. So they hire Judge Free, who used to be the head of the FBI that was appointed by Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, who was on Epstein's plane 26 times. Ghislaine Maxwell was at their daughter's wedding. That's who the head of the FBI was, who hassled Maria Farmer. Her own word, she was treated worse by the FBI. That same guy hired to write a report to say, seal it off. No alumni are mentioned. No powerful people surrounding Penn State University are mentioned. Just Paterno knew. Of course, the dead guy knew about it. No, I'm not saying Paterno's innocent. I'm saying, do you see how they do it? There's no other powerful people. The one person they can hang it, they're going to hang it on Paterno because he's dead. Anybody that's way more powerful than Joe Paterno not mentioned in that report because it was designed to seal it off. So we can have that news report and say Paterno knew. Everybody can be mad at Paterno, and rightfully so. He did know. He should have a statue on that campus. It's offensive. But we're not talking about the real powerful. Every time there's some report, we're never talking about the really powerful people, the very high up people in the British royal family, people in the Saudi royal family, Mossad, the CIA. We're never talking about them. So that's why I come back here to Acosta. He's gives Epstein the sweetheart deal back in 07, 09, whenever it was. The trial started in 07. It ended in 09, roughly, or when he served the term. It was like 13 months between 08 and 09. And now this DOJ report comes out. Poor judgment. So the DOJ, so they can say the DOJ investigated it. Acosta did to do his job. No, Acosta. The agreement allowed Epstein to serve 13 months in a work release program, make payments to victims, and register as a sex offender instead of potentially serving a life sentence. Because Epstein has a lot of information on people. He had. So does Ghislaine Maxwell. Why is it going to take a year for her trial? She got arrested this July, and we're going to wait till July of 2021. Her deposition just got unsealed. Still has a lot of redactions in it. It's in my Epstein. I got a whole Epstein play, all my videos about Epstein. Recently talking about Ghislaine Maxwell's, right? So this is more just whitewash, seal it off. Oh, problem, we got it. Acosta got a slap on the wrist. Should have done more for Epstein, but he's dead now. So that's done. Case closed. That's what they want you to think. Case closed. The DOJ says the report did not conclude that Acosta's decision to approve the deal was based on corruption or other impermissible considerations such as Epstein's wealth, status, and associations. They did not conclude. That's what the DOJ said. That's weird because they couldn't just do a cursory web search that I did, because Acosta's own words were, and I quote, "I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and leave him alone." So they just use this flowery language based on corruption or other impermissible considerations such as Epstein's wealth, status, or associations, billionaires, presidents, the intelligence community. Acosta, I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and leave it alone. So Acosta did his job. So that's why they're going to give him a slap on the wrist. They're going to say, look, we're going to pull you in front of this DOJ report and we're going to say you did poor judgment. When this came out last summer, Trump let him go, but they take care of their own. Acosta, you play ball, you do a good job, leave Epstein alone, give him a little slap on the wrist. If anything comes up down the road, we'll take care of you. That's what they're saying. They always take care of you. We'll take care of you. Because the powerful take care of their own. Trump, Elena, Epstein, Maxwell. Oh, there's Maxwell. Chelsea Clinton's wedding. Hey, there's Trump golfing with President Clinton and the former two mayors of New York City. You know, New York City, where Epstein on suicide watch just happened to hang himself with a paper t-shirt on the one night when the cameras go broke. Oh, zoinks. It's not like these guys know people inside the prison system that they could kind of let that happen. It's not like these are two presidents. No, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. There's all of Trump. Ghislaine, all the time she's with Ghislaine Maxwell. And he said, I wish her well. She got arrested. I wish her well. That's a Trump quote. I wish her well. Really? If I was president, I wouldn't wish Ghislaine. I would wish her well when we waterboard her in Gitmo. That's what I would do. I'm not for torture, but of a billionaire pedophile sex trafficker, I'm okay with it because they're monsters. Acosta issued poor judgment. Why? Because of all the powerful people. He was an intelligence asset. And oh, here's Epstein. There's the former head of JP Morgan Chase. There's the former Secretary of Treasury. Gee, weird. There's Epstein. There's Bill Gates. Bill Gates. You want to take his vaccine? I don't. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm not taking his vaccine. Who's that? That's the former that's the former CFO, Chief Financial Officer of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Do you want to know who Jeffrey Epstein's, the executor of his will, was? Jeffrey Epstein's executor, same guy. Same guy. Am I mad at Acosta? No, not really. He's a cog in a wheel. They could have threatened his life. They said, leave him alone. And they're taking care of him. Had he really prosecuted Epstein really hard, Acosta would have been gone. He would have OD'd in a hotel in West Palm Beach and no one would have ever talked about it. Freak car accident, something weird. Gary Webb, you know what I mean? Shoot himself with the head twice and they ruled it a suicide. The most powerful people in the world. Ghislaine Maxwell, Virginia Roberts, Prince Andrew. That's why you come here. I'm the political vigilante. I don't let this shit go. They're not talking about this. The corporate media is just going to say, the DOJ said he issued poor judgment, but no real misconduct. You did your job, Acosta. You protected a pedophile intelligence asset. That's what Epstein would do. Have rich, powerful people come over to his house for his various parties or events or whatever. A butler would come to this rich, powerful person, this man, whatever man, and say, hey, do you want a massage from a beautiful young lady? Of course I do. Goes into this room. She's underage. There's videotapes. They have sex or some type of sex. Then now Epstein says, I got video of you having sex with a minor. And then that person would donate or invest in Epstein's bullshit hedge fund. That's how he did it. So now he had money. And he had leverage. This is an intelligence. And so the intelligence community said, well, we can use this guy. John Kiriakou came on my show and said that they don't tell you to do this in the CIA. But if you said, I'm a CIA agent, and you ask your superior, hey, what if I get kids for this pedophile so that I can use that pedophile, they've got access to powerful people or information. Whatever you got to do to get the information, to have the person become an asset. It's not in a manual in the CIA, but John Kiriakou, CIA whistleblower, said that on this show. He believed Israeli Mossad had something to do with Epstein dying in prison. He said that on this show. Does he think Mossad killed Epstein? No, he just says this has to be the Israelis. That's a direct quote he said on this show. Watch my Epstein playlist. There's only a handful of us covering this. Everybody else, the corporate media won't cover this at all because billionaires run big corporations, and these billionaires are either directly tied to Epstein, they're either pedophiles themselves, or at least know enough about it that they're going to protect their own. Remember when ABC, that interviewer, said she had a full interview with Virginia Roberts, and the head CEO, that they got word because ABC is owned by Disney, the CEO of Disney said, nope, we don't want to lose access to Buckingham Palace. See how it works? See how it works? That's why you come here. I speak the truth. Nobody else does about this shit. I ain't letting this go. I ain't letting this go. They're going to keep feeding these little stories that come out on little small web. Oh, the DOJ report. Just bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. They put out that Netflix doc about Epstein. That was very clearly, I mean, I'm glad the victims got to speak on that documentary, but they also they didn't push any harder when the victims would say stuff. That was really, and I listened to like liberal friends of mine watch it. And they were like, yeah, but the Clintons just didn't know. Hillary didn't know. How could they know? They didn't know. That's what that Netflix doc. That's why Obama donated a bunch of money to Netflix. See it? See it? So that's part of manufacturing consent. It's not just the news media. It's the entertainment industry. I didn't know much about Epstein, but I saw that Netflix doc. Their docs are pretty good. So looks like nobody knew. Like he tricked everybody. Like, oh, nobody knew. Who knew? Who knew about Weinstein? Boo, boo. More bullshit. More bullshit. Thanks for watching the show. Support what we do. Like, share, subscribe. You're making Gotham great again. You come here for the truth, kids. Shave your knuckles for justice. Kaboom. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button. Go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood and rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, where you can support the show. Also, I have a Bitcoin wallet, a Bitcoin Cash wallet, and an Ethereum wallet in the show notes. We're taking cryptocurrency. I have a Coinbase affiliation link. We're going to be getting on some other exchanges. So that's how you support the show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. YouTube is unsubscribing us at an alarming rate. I have a PayPal button at GrahamElwood.com. I even have a Venmo at Graham-Elwood. There's a lot of ways to support our show. We are getting crushed by YouTube. We've dipped under 73,000 subscribers because of YouTube. Thanks for supporting what we do.